So we're going to go through collision detection, so recognizing when the bird is touching one side of the screen. To start that off, I'm going to start with the word sub, create a new sub, and we'll call this sub collision. Now what I often forget to do when I create these new subs to do a job is to forget to call them in here. So this sub that I've created, I'm going to need to run to check to see if anything's collided as we go through my while loop. Do that while I remember. So sub collision, we'd like to say, well, if the bird's Y position, so I'd like to check to see if the bird is touching the top of the screen, see if it's gone out the top. The bird's Y position is equal to 0, then I'd like to, well, let's do our normal test of text window dot write line, and we'll just write hello for now. End that if, end that sub, and let's just see whether that works. There's a chance it won't, and I'll show you why. If I fly past that, and you'll notice it didn't trigger. And the reason it didn't trigger, we said that bird Y has to be equal to 0. Now it's likely that it went just past it, or that it and just missed it. So it was kind of like went to 0.0034 or something. So for us, what we need to do is say, well, actually, rather than just say it has to be equal to it, why don't we just say it has to be less than it? So we run that again, and we flap, and sure enough, it's registered numerous times that we were less than 0 on our Y coordinate. So what would be a lovely next step is to say, well, let's restart the game. We'll put the tube back to the start, and we'll also put the bird back to the center. So to do that, why don't we say, well, let's run a new sub called reset. I know we haven't made it yet, we'll do that next. So we're going to have a new sub called reset and call that in here. So we better go and write that sub. Now when we reset the game, we need to think about what we actually want to do. We don't need to worry about this event. We don't need to recreate the graphics window. We don't need to redraw the tubes. We don't need to know the size of the bird. But we do want to set the Y position of the bird back to the center position. So let's start our sub here. So sub reset, and so that's going to be part of it, so I'll indent it so we can see that. Bird x equals 50, yeah, we'll set the starting x position, even though we don't change it in our game at the moment. We'll set that back to 50. The graphics window brush color to create the bird, well, we don't actually want to recreate the bird. If we did that again, we'd actually end up with a second version of the bird, so I'm actually just going to move that out of that sub. Do we want to move the bird to its locations? Well, yes, we do. Do we want to set the tube's x position to the start? Yes, we do. Do we want to set the tube's y position using that function? Yes, we do. And shapes.move, do we want to move the tube to the starting position? Yes, we'll do that. And let's just keep going down and just check. Well, first of all, let's end this sub in here. And then just make sure there's nothing else we need to reset by just doing a little scroll down. So these are subs in themselves, so we probably don't need to do those. Bird wide change equals 1. We might want to set bird wide change back to 1, so I'll take that for now. And we also might want to set these all back to 1. Let's paste that in there and take the lot together. So we can set all these variables back to their original state. So if I cut those and we'll go and paste them into our sub called reset. So there's our reset sub again. And we'll just go and paste that all in there. Sometimes I have issues with the way that Small Basic likes to indent things and move them around for you. But that's looking a lot tidier for me, and I don't think there's anything else we need to play with. The only last thing we need to do is if I run that now, we'll probably see a problem, I imagine. Yeah, we started at the top and the tubes appeared on the left-hand side. It's only because now we don't do any of this reset of setting up all the variable stuff until we die the first time. So what I really want to do is just before the while loop starts, let's run the reset sub just to set everything up ready for the first go. Let's try that out. And sure enough, we're good to go. See if it resets. Perfect. Try that again. And it resets again.